Alrighty, we're back and gonna get into the next game. Bllye versus Joshi coming up. Has been confirmed at this point. I'll update the thread. This is gonna be kind of interesting though. Versus Bllye. I entirely have faith in Bllye to do weird, stupid stuff to Joshi, but at the same time, I totally have faith in Joshi to 3 racks Reaper, make mincemeat out of the Zerg like all the other Terran players have been doing.
Yep, that is my question. Finally see the Korean versus European 3-rack Reaper TvZ. This is, one of the 20 variations that they wanted to see.
By the way, the other alternative would not have been bad to follow a laser. He does go off to fight against Alive, but we're going to let them play out. I'm going to get Showtime plays down below. So the way this will likely work is we'll just follow this into 2 best-of-3 semifinals and the best-of-3 grand finals. But other than that, you still got Keen and Lambo playing. Winner plays either Vincent or B-Lord. And again, the top 2 people who finish will play in the finals for a $200 Yord Woodwatch code, but they will also be invited to the grand finals where we have $450 in prizing up for grabs. Thank you to Bob, King of 12 versus... It's a funny thing to be king of. 10 bits. Cheers says, I watched 2 ads for these bits, so here you go. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. If you guys don't know, you can watch... I think this is America only. I could be wrong about that. I think it's limited to America only still because it's like a trial thing. But you can watch bits, or you can get ads for watching bits, which I think is really cool. And of course, bits forward to the streamer. Okay, it's a couple of cents here and there, but that's actually way more than what an ad's worth. Like, perfect clarity for you guys, I guess, who don't work in this world. Ads are based on CPM, which I think is short for cents per mil, which is whatever. So like you get like X money for 1,000 views of an ad. I can't share what we have with Twitch, but generally saying, like, let's pick an easy number. Like, this number is way too high. For everyone who's aware, like, average CPM for most streamers is going to be like, $3 to $5, something like that. But I'm going to pick 10 for easy numbers, right? So what it would mean is, like, for every 1,000 commercials that got watched, we would get, say, $10, which in that case is still barely worth the bits that you would get by watching it and then forwarding it to the streamer. So it's really cool. Like, typically speaking, you guys who watch one of our ads on the channel, that's going to be worth, like, a cents on the dollar type thing. Not much. So bits, funny enough, kind of make it, like, double worthwhile.
Double worthwhile. Yep.
But, yeah, for those, I guess, unfamiliar, I know some people don't like hearing me talk about money, and I like talking about money because I like being transparent with a lot of you guys. Or at least as transparent as we're allowed to be for the most part. And Zombie Grub and I we only pay each other through ad revenue. We recently started using some sub fund for non-tournament stuff since we've had so many subs now, and it's like, what do we do with all y'all? But for the most part, BaseTradeTV sub money has been what fuels the tournaments, pays the admins, pays the artists, and all these other things to make the stream look good for you guys. And yeah, watching ads helps us get some cash, so it always feels good. Also, for those who don't watch ads because you got Twitch Prime or Twitch Turbo, don't feel left out. By the way, join off me. Because Twitch does a really cool thing where even though you don't see the ad, by having Twitch Turbo or Twitch Prime, Twitch counts you as having seen the ad. So just by chilling and being in the channel, you help out the streamers too. It's awesome. Shout out to Bllye for hosting Habitation Station. I guess I'll go make a tweet.
So close. So close to the mod.
Oh, we have to change. Oh, you're right. Oh. Yeah. Our graphs broke when Blizz put theirs in. Okay, you rehost. Habitation Station, Zombie Grub. This gives me the time to make the tweets.
Thank you. In case I couldn't read the Korean. It's useful. Okay. Jjakji, Bllye. Listen to K-pop in the background. It's perfect. It's actually kind of older K-pop too. I've met so many people. Like, I don't know, like, if you... Because I know, like, you're not totally into music, but you've, like, probably known people that are... Listen to, like, an older song that isn't quite... It's not like the 80s or the 90s, but it's, like, a year old or 2 years old, and someone's like, that's an old song, what are you listening to it for? And you're just like, well, you don't stop listening to a song because it gets old unless it gets old to you personally. I don't understand. I met so many people in Korea that think like that.
Wait, I'm a little bit confused. What do you mean?
People will just literally like be like, that song is old because it's like a year or two old. Why are you still listening to it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Like it's not trendy. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and I'm just really confused because if I still like the song, I still like the song. It's not because it's the date at which it was released. I'm still finding songs from like 2008 that I'd never heard of before that I like. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people seem to have a mentality here.
Oh, I apparently said you get ads for watching bits. Yeah, guys, every time you see those little bits flash on the stream, it triggers a commercial. I swear it's not me hitting the commercial key because I just want all that dirty, dirty money. Or it was a misspeak. I don't know, one or the other. Wait.
This has all been a ruse. One day we're just gonna go full just bitches on y'all. Commercials through the ads, and either pay us $50 to stop, or commercials through the game.
Yeah,
it too.
We're holding innovation hostage through commercials. So real quick before we get into it, Bob King says, my name is a StarCraft 1 reference. I'm sorry to let you down, man. I did not do a lot of StarCraft 1. I saw my very first Brood War match, actually, while we were in Korea this previous couple of weeks ago. So I'm sadly not up on the StarCraft 1 references. Feels bad, man. Sorry to let you down. At the same time, though, I'm crazy enough to have gotten into StarCraft after all the hype was there and stuck with it, so that's a good thing, I guess. I'll pretend it makes me eccentric. And special shoutouts to both Poison REV and Fart Falcon, some of my favorite mods on other channels. Just being plebs here in our chat. Love you guys so much. Thanks for stopping by. But it's Bllye, so what do you know? Some weird stuff happening. Top right, can he defend against this? It's jjakji.
In the top left is the red Zerg. He is Bllye.
So I will say that Bllye may have actually been a bit of a mad genius with this idea. Let's assume for a moment jjakji was doing 3 Rex Reaper, which he's not. The map's bad for it. However, Reapers, they kill spine cars, queens, and drones, but you know, Zombie Grub, we don't really see Reapers kill hatcheries. So I'm just saying.
That means Liberty they would have.
Actually, depending on what he plans to do with this, like if this is like spread creep and move spine crawlers up, I almost wish you would have taken the gold to do that. Could have got some money off of it. But with Bllye being Bllye, this is probably Roaches and Ravagers right on the front lines.
If it's like this, if it's so far away from the wall, then it's usually Roaches. Whether that's versus Protoss or versus Zerg, but he does do the Spine Crawler versus Protoss a lot too. He could have done it versus Terran. Like, Heavy Sensation was actually one of those maps during the, like, almost, I think it was on the, like, very last couple of months of Heavy Sensation, where proxy hatches were, like, really stupidly popular, and you had to start scouting your natural, because you just literally plant it where Joshi's building his, and Spine Crawler rush you. And it was actually, like, quite difficult to hold until you learned how to do it, basically.
I hope Joshi's like just pooping his pants right now. Like, oh, it's a regular roach form, right? Nothing crazy yet.
But even though Bllye is Bllye, he'll do this.
No, he didn't.
Like, Jjakji has faced this build before. They just, I don't know if you know, like, Bllye is the one to do it all the frequent time.
Right? I thought he had seen the creeps, the edge of the creep with his Reaper, but he missed it entirely. He still only barely gets a view of it now. So SCV building the command center gets stalled out. This kind of sucks a little bit. 1 SCV dead, it's not that big of a deal, but the 3 Roaches coming out certainly are. They can bust a bunker like nobody's business. By the way, big thank you to Melted Igloo. Woo! So Puddle of Water, thanks for the sub hype.
Amazing.
SCVs are getting pulled in, absolutely necessarily so. It's not necessarily to shut the Roaches down so much as it is to guarantee the bunker goes up, though. He needs to get that bunker up, but it gets stalled out at the very last second. Roaches are going to do what they can. Oh, they waste a shot on the rocks. The Ravager pod finishes up, full heal on the Ravager. Nothing to go inside the bunker. He's cut the Marines off.
Beautiful. That stop of the Reaper is so good. Nothing, like, I don't think that's enough DPS in the bunker. Especially once the SCVs are down.
Yeah, oh, man.
He's not target firing the shell either.
Well, the thing about this that makes it so frustrating, the Ravager shell drops all aggro. No A moving will deal with those eggs as they hatch because they're not attacking. The SCVs stop because they went to repair the bunker too late. Barely kills the Ravager, but that is game, and Bllye takes game number 1.
Beautiful. Beautiful Bllye.
I gotta say, after all the, I'm not gonna lie, boring, like 3 Rex Reapers we've been seeing beat Zerg to death senselessly, it's nice to see somebody Zerg do something silly and crazy right back.
Yeah, revenge. Of course, now Jjakji could just choose a map that's not possible on.
I really am truly curious if 3-Rex Reaper would work against that or not. Because I feel like... I feel like it still might.
I feel like it would too. I think it would have... No, because my thought process is that the Reapers would produce fast enough that just buying a little bit of time, which they're great at, would be able to kill both roaches and Spinecos. Because Spinecos have to move eventually, even if it's right up against your face. So I actually don't know. We should test it. It's gonna be on Van Eye. I don't think. Well,
maybe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe. I mean, the map doesn't make it so great for the natural, but that's not necessarily the point of going Reapers. Sometimes you are just looking for like brute force damage. But I guess thinking on it one step further, that's more the foreigner way to do it, right? Talking to Lambo and the others, kind of confirming Koreans have been sticking to like a strict regiment of like 9 Reapers and no more in their diet.
They don't want to fill up, get fat.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We've been thinking it was all these tactics about macro and training. Really, they're just like silly American. Oh, I don't know. I'm doing a French accent. Silly Americans, like. I was just so used to be like snooty about America by being French. I guess.
Right.
Like, silly Americans.
Oh, good God.
All right. Well, either way, Vanna Research Station coming up. Bllye might have some more tricks up his sleeve, or maybe he'll play a little bit normal. I don't know, but I will say that looked fantastic, and I'm glad we picked this series. Even though there's other good ones going on, I'm glad we picked this one. Winner of this will advance on to fight against Stylish or a Laser. And I guess one of the common themes in the previous qualifier that was really cool was all the foreigners did eventually beat out all the Koreans. And that included names like Stats and Zest and Trust and others. So that'd be cool if we saw the trend continue here. End up with like an all-European finals.
Sure. Makes sense, the European server.
Alive, I think, just look at these brackets, by the way. I think Alive's probably my favorite to actually, if there was a Korean to make it and break it, would be him, I think. Because Joaquin's had good showings, and jjakji's not bad. Alive's the only one who I think has won some of this cross-server stuff that we've seen.
I would give it to Alive, too. I think Keen has actually kind of a difficult opponent with Lambo. We'll see how that goes. Keen could be another one. Terrans!
Well, getting into game number 2, spawning the top central portion of the map. He's blue. He's coming from Korea. It's jjakji.
We only have Korean Terrans. Terran Koreans. Now, the bottom right, or just the bottom, actually, it's Van Eye. It's the Red Zerg Bllye.
Oh, yeah, I guess you weren't here for that. We had kind of like a sit-down with chat today to talk about like what other Terrans would take the spot in like while we're doing Go for StarCraft. And we said like unless Kelazur stepped it up from like North America, there's not really a lot of candidates right now. Which is a very sad
North America?
reality. Well, no, like even Europe, right? Like what European Terran's going to beat these guys? Probably none that I can think of that are currently active.
Apparently Marine Lord's pretty decent.
Yeah, Marine Lord never plays in our stuff though, and I think he's feeling a little emo after Top Dogs. He made some tweet like, I'll be tweeting about my future soon, or whatever.
Oh.
And then I saw him tweet like an Overwatch picture, so... eh.
All those French guys moving to Overwatch. They just agreed, collective as a country. Well, no shenanigans here. I mean, Bllye does take the base outside of his supposed natural, which is always a cool little trick, and that might mean he cheeses. I always really appreciated the builds, the strategies that included taking the off natural.
He wanted it. He wanted it so bad, but jjakji started repairing. Oh, the worker might grow. You should have gone for it. It's too late now.
Yeah. If he hadn't pulled back that drone, I think that would have died.
Get out of there, little Joni. He's going to actually go get the SUV over here now, which is really annoying.
Well, the Reaper's going to be out now, so it's just going to die. Good drone extract would be super annoying, but anyway, like, and so by taking the hatchery where Bllye does, maybe jjakji never tries to go into the actual natural. First of all, because it's difficult to do anyway, and second of all, because you just assume, like, this was natural base, you can take a third base.
Actual natural is like such a close rhyme. I never realized.
Actual natural.
Factual actual natural. Okay, well, I'll do the rhyme stuff later. The Reaper, you're right, might not go. He might not bother, and if he assumes it's 3 hatcheries, he'll be assuming wrong. That being said, for Bllye, there's a lot of other benefits to taking this base early. Safer base pocketed in for later. You've also got the creep spread going out much faster. There's a lot of advantages actually to taking it out here. And if you guys remember back when this map was in the map pool, this actually became a very common trending thing to do.
Yeah. And only once every like 36 games did someone actually use this to all in and fake out their opponent. Because of course, to all in on this map, like sure you might trick your opponent thinking you're macroing, and that's like one step of an all in. Another step is breaking down their, defenses, and it's kind of difficult to do when they only have one ramp to worry about, and it's a pretty tight ramp too. But Bllye is going to go for 2-base lair, which is not the same as like an all-in on 2 bases, but it is something that, again, jjakji just might not bother scouting for because he assumes natural base, that must be a third base. If there's third base, there must be double evolution chambers and ling upgrades and, the whole usual ZVT game, but Bllye doesn't do that.
Yeah. By the way, Euthermal's name is getting thrown out there for European Terran stuff. He qualified already, is why we're not discussing him. Like, he's already in it. He's already there.
Yeah.
We certainly have not forgotten about Euthermal. He's really taken up the mantle from Bunny and just been awesome, frankly.
Yeah, he has. Well, the Reaper does get the scout and the natural. Again, it's dangerous to do this, but at a certain point, you're going to suicide your Reaper for one reason or another, so might as well go for it.
I think especially getting up to that base and seeing the layer, you want to check that base. You need to know whether it's an all-in or not. And now Joshi gets a little bit spooked by this, right? I don't believe he saw the Spire. I'm just going to check on that real quick. No, he did not see the Spire before he got slapped down. And maybe Bllye is going to go rogue style with this, or maybe he'll do something different. But Joshi is now able to know, okay, I can't really just pick up and go with my Medivacs. He's on 2 bases. He might actually be attacking me soon.
Well, the interesting thing, and this is what's kind of shocking for me, is that even back in Heart of the Swarm, where the economies were different, so the timings you think would have been different, you could attack with your Medivac drop before 2-base Spire, as long as it wasn't like the literal fastest 2-base Spire it could be. It was just like the normal one. You could drop before it was done. So if you dropped all your Marines and the mutas had to go respawn, they sometimes weren't enough, especially with like super good micro. Beyond showcase a couple of those games, actually, being the boss that he is. Usually the muted Ling combination is enough, just being clear, so it is dangerous to do this, but sometimes it's not. So Joshi's going to go for it and try and use that natural to his advantage. Unload there without Bllye seeing. Well, he didn't see it immediately, but I mean, saw it fast enough. And he does have enough Lings, too, so this should be enough for the mutas.
Well, as he darts around with the Lings, he's trying his best not to lose too much. He wants to really get the Mutalisks and the Medivacs on top of the Queens on top of the Medivacs.
Uh-oh. The fact that Bllye is losing all of his Lings is quite worrying. Jjakji still retreats, which I found a little bit surprising. I guess he just assumed there'd be more Lings, and he did enough.
Well,
he may
have
save the ones that can kill the mutas.
Well, he may have been spooked by the mutas as well, is what my point was going to be. Like, okay, you won the ground war, but he saw 2 initially. He knew there'd be more than that. Yeah, just trying to get the Medivacs out alive and keep them safe. Flies back home, but he's flying back home to Liberators. Now, here's something Blye's doing that I really like. He goes into Carapace upgrades right away. When we were watching Rogue play and a couple others, they were doing the Scarlet 2, I think, even was doing the weapon upgrades. But the Carapace kind of works, especially since Liberators no longer deal bonus damage to light. Yeah, Marines are still going to shred them. That's not going to change. But if you want to see already useless Liberators be even more useless against Mutalisks, you get armor upgrades.
I do like the armor upgrade. It does usually say that they're going to really commit to mutas as opposed to the attack upgrade, which is like creates harassment, just coming in and out, not really using them for the main engagements. But right, I mean, he has another problem with upgrades, which is he's not getting any of the ground upgrades quite yet. Finally, his evolution chamber, singular, is finishing up, but as Joshi prepares to start his double upgrade, so he will have an upgrade lead versus the ground, and of course eventually versus the mutas. Like, mutas, you're not going to have 3-3, slightly. Oh, this is a very tiny bit of harassment. This is a very obnoxious point on Van Nuys research station because very rarely you're going to have 600 extra minerals to put down on missile turrets, especially if you're playing Bllye with the way that the pacing works out. So that could be a really hot spot for me to come back into, but they want to retreat. They want to actually deal with this, help the Lings again deal with it. It's so questionable, you know. Like if the Lings don't and the mutas are all that's left, there might just be too many Marines for them to help out. That's a lot of creep spread he just cleaned up. So while he retreats, and I think that's totally the right thing to do, the Banelings were after all finishing up and getting typical hooks. It was a lot of creep.
Bllye dives forward to put those tumors down, and the nice thing is, well, creep does recede a lot faster, still spreads much faster than it used to too, so he'll have that back up in the front line pretty quick. He's gonna try and get these ones before all the tumors are gone.
I'm not sure what Bllye's doing rolling off with creep this much. I think Joshi would have enough.
I think so too.
I mean, he doesn't have any Marauders, you know, to soak it, but he does have splitting on his side.
I mean, he gets
He takes the engagement.
He gets good hits on the Marines, but the problem is, like, it's not just the Marines that are gonna be the problem, right? There's gonna be more Marines where that came from. The Mutalisks push back too. He killed the Liberators, a small consolation, I suppose.
I wonder if that was... Well, that could have just been, like, old aggressive Bllye, who would maybe overextend a couple of times, but that was also one of those scenarios that it wasn't quite the early game. I don't know where they're going. But it's not quite the early game, so you don't have the plus 10 health and banelings, but it's not quite so late game that you can barely see the plus 10 health and banelings. That was kind of like, okay, the plus 10 health and the banelings with baneling speed, would that have, contributed to Bllye trying to push forward like that? Because it didn't work, so now we know.
Bllye really messed up that rally. That was like 10 drones that got misrallied.
Yeah, he must have built overlords and tried to rally them, because that's usually the only reason you specifically rally eggs.
Yeah.
Unless he literally rallied to like a gold base in the middle of nowhere.
It wasn't rallied at the gold, it was definitely rallied past it. Mutalisks flock does flock into the natural. Missile turret gonna go down pretty quick. Or maybe not, it barely keeps it alive. That repair was good for a time, but all the SCVs going down, but nothing was left to repair it.
Yeah. It did buy a lot of time for the reinforcements to try and get here, but that's a lot of mutas, and they do have that +1. So 12 mutas, no wood mines to scare them off. There is a missile turret, and maybe the Liberators will be enough. Joshi can't really push while this is going on, unfortunately. If he does, he risks getting on a creep and getting rolled by banelings, so he's got to take care of this first. But he does have an army ready to push, and it's actually going to be a doom drop, as he knows where the mutas are.
It's so hard watching that, but the Liberators are so bad against Mutalisks now. Like, so bad.
Oh, these poor spur crawlers. They're like, we're in a great position. Oh, shucks.
Yeah, I want to get a couple shots off, but he's really going to need banelings to clean this up. A couple of the lings running in at first won't quite cut it, but if he can he baits out the hit, though. It's pretty good. Baneling's going to splash in through the backside, but the question really comes down to, can the Mutalisks clean the rest up? Did he do enough damage with the banelings? And looks like the answer's a solid yes.
Yeah. Well, it was always questionable for Josh to stick around like that. I mean, his medevacs got into the spore crawler range, which seemed inevitable if Bllye was responding at all. He did kill 22 drones, though. That made up for the 17 SCVs lost and a little bit then some. And his creep spread denial is still pretty good. Like, Blye's got it back at least a little bit to protect that fourth base, but the fourth base, I think, is like a really good contention point. I was a little surprised Josh tried a doom drop, but I can also see why. You know, you're being attacked by mutas, and you think, okay, I'm going to catch you with your pants down, no mutas, and it doesn't seem to always work. I actually have never liked doom drops, especially versus Mutaling Bling, but like Zerg in general, past like the 8-minute point, basically. I just think they just put you on a creep and you're, not going to take a good trade. But that's just, that's not always the case. It just seems to be it happens more often.
Well, coming back into the natural. I'm not sure if you saw those Widow Mines. I think he got an idea they were there. Okay, so he's going to play it safe. Just go for the turret. Widow Mines aren't going to contribute much of anything. More SCV's going to die. Glaive Worm bounce and get some kills. Oh, no!
God, both of the mines go off there. Plus, Joshi is pushing at the front, and Bllye just doesn't have enough of an army. He lost the drones. He had to try and remake them. He couldn't remake everything that he wanted to in the army. Still doesn't have that great of upgrades either. It's always been a point.
Yeah, what's really unfortunate is he doesn't quite have the muta count either to really just tear into Marines. When we were watching Rogue play, he was sitting on like 35 plus Mutalisks. That's more than enough to do anything you want with even a decent amount of control. Unfortunately for Bllye, only able to get up to 15. Not quite the numbers you want to see to take on Marines just yet.
No. And despite having double upgrades, 1-1 on the mutas, it's just not a high enough number. Using what is almost the rest of his army, basically the rest of his army, as his mutas cannot take on these Marines to try and clean this up, while being attacked in the natural once again. That hatchery could go down, should go down.
GG. Alright, Joshi brings it back to tie up the series 1-1. But before we get into game number 3, guys, we are going to hit up a small commercial break. So thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our sponsors over on woodwatches.com/base. We'll see you soon. Alright, folks, we're back, and we're going to be hopping into Newkirk Precinct for the third and final map in this best of 3. Yeah, and I'm pretty glad we picked this one, because it's given us some pretty awesome gameplay so far. Ta_ just hit us up with a 16-month resub. Mad Hatter 1212 and Frankenfurter, and hopefully I didn't miss anyone else. Thank you guys all for resubbing to the channel and coming back for some more StarCraft. Of course, the reminder is that the winner of this goes on to the semifinals, which is also, I should note for everybody watching, the semifinals is a qualifying series. So the people who win the semifinals will go on to those grand finals.
Looks like the new Mutator was announced. Totally different StarCraft topic. Comic.
Oh, co-op Mutator, okay.
Yeah, they have a new Mutator. Just die. Enemy units are automatically revived upon death. Well, that doesn't sound fun.
It depends on like what units, right? Because I'm thinking of like the combination of banelings, for example. Like, do you have to get Bane over and over again? Like,
yeah. Okay, Speed Freaks isn't. It's Outbreak, Speed Freaks, and Just Die. Speed Freaks isn't the one that's bad. Teleportation.
So that's going to be interesting because you're going to have the infested Terrans possibly come back over and over and over again too. So these constantly spawning, easy to kill units.
That's true, and they're super quick. The Speed Freaks was like annoying, but I'm thinking of the Liberators hopping around. That's the only thing that like gives me like nightmares.
The heebie-jeebies, yeah, the teleporting Liberators. That'll be interesting. I look forward to taking on that challenge. I still haven't had a single week. Well, no, I take that back. There was 1 week where we didn't do it at all, and that's because broken arms and all that. But outside of that, the mutations have been really fun. Nothing impossible, but all challenging nonetheless.
Yeah.
Especially from all the angry Rifkin moments on YouTube that people seem to be clipping together.
They're pretty good.
We are getting into game number 3. It's tied up now 1-1, and in the bottom left side of Newkirk Precinct. Yeah, he sent that drone out quick. It's gonna be Bllye.
In the bottom right says the blue Terran. It is jjakji. Okay,
so OMG Lulba, thank you so much for the 16-month resubs to Sweet 16. So yeah, because it's 16 years. Here's a car. Happy birthday.
Oh.
This barracks, though, this scouting, actually, Bllye did this last time where all the scouting was just barely out of vision. I don't know if this is just super well practiced or if he just is playing it cautious. Either way, similar tactics to that first game.
I imagine it's super well practiced. Bllye is that type of guy, and he's been around long enough and has done this on the new old maps. That's great. You're going to say it. So I bet he would remember. It is probably going to be those roaches again. If it was any closer, like maybe it was a spine crawler, but even then, the spine crawler rush usually goes in the natural with the hatchery, like literally where the command center would have gone. So it's got to be the roach ravager. It got like an instant win on the first map on Habitation Station. So it could happen again. Big difference, I think, is just Joshi is going to get that slight faster of a scout on it. Yeah, because he didn't SCV scout on Habitation Station, did he? He just waited for the Reaper, which barely didn't see the creep, and then everything went topsy-turvy.
I think he actually did SCV scout.
Oh, yeah, he did SCV scout. That's right, because you were like, he's going to be so shocked. I don't know if this is any earlier than. The biggest difference, I think, that the bit earlier scout on the SCV would be that he would be able to build a bunker and not be stalled out.
Right. For me, I'm just thinking, like, there's not much else the Reaper can really do. It's scouts, and then maybe chucks a grenade at a building that's not going to die anytime soon. Lings came out right away to try and get the SCV off the command center. Clever tactic, but not going to be good enough with the Reaper having stayed at home. So Blye's going to have to wait for Roaches to build anything else. Roach Warren just finished, though, so here we go.
Joshi isn't building any defenses. I don't think you get... There's the first bunker. Okay, so that was probably just a mineral issue. Yeah, well, I'm looking at it right now, and he's like, so down on minerals, because he can afford one.
I got to stress, though, the bunker itself is not that big of a deal per se. The Overlord's going to give the Ravagers vision, and it usually gets bust pretty quick. But the Reaper dies immediately. Nothing to stop the Roaches from killing the SV building the bunker. So the bunker itself won't go up. The one in the the one in the main's going to be okay. The one in the natural's not so good.
Yeah, but this is when we talk about your point, which is the Ravagers can still bust that.
Yeah, if he was paying more attention, by the way, he could have actually stopped that command center from getting finished. That would have been huge. No second orbital would be massive in a situation like this. But he's trying to tear down the building because you can't repair it, of course, while it's in progress. It gets really low. SCVs get picked off as they try to repair, but the bunker still goes down. And Bllye, I'm going to be honest, guys, what a dick move. It's good for him, don't get me wrong, but oh man, how do you stop this?
This is especially brutal because I think that Jjakji just isn't quite... Like, I'm pretty sure he would have faced proxy hatches because he still faces the likes of, like, Leanock, for instance, who does weird stuff, but I don't think he's ever faced Bllye before in a best of 3. Or if he has, maybe Bllye wasn't feeling particularly cheesy, but this is just like, Joshi didn't know quite what to do.
By the way, Laser beat Alive 2-0 while this was going on. So it's a ZVZ semifinals where they knocked out both the Koreans, both the Terrans. There's still the potential of Keen. Him and Lambo are still playing. I don't know what's going on with that. That one's been held up for a while. So we'll go into a Laser versus Bllye next. After that, we'll fall back to the other side of the bracket, wherever it's at, whether we find Game 3 in the round of 8, or maybe it'll be Showtime ready to play his semifinals. But Laser and Bllye, ZVZ, guarantees that we'll have one more Zerg getting through to the group stage, which I'm actually kind of okay with, especially because Zerg is not looking so great right now, and Euthermo particularly is looking abusive. So I'm curious to see how that will play out. Furthermore, though, I really would love my perfect situation out of the current bracket at hand. In fact, I'm going to screen region this so people can see what I'm talking about. Would be if Showtime were to win the bottom side. Like, he doesn't have to win the tournament here today to get the $200 watch code, but if he wins his semifinals match, that'll give us 1 Protoss, 2 Zerg, and a Terran for our group. I think that would just be the sickest setup, too, considering the players at hand, right? You've got either Bllye or a Laser. You've got Snoot and Euthermal, guaranteed, and then possibly Showtime. Tell me that doesn't sound like a sexy WCS group. That sounds like a WCS Premier group is what that sounds like, you know?
Premier. I know.
Some premium quality stuff. But yeah, Keen versus Lambo, I guess, are actually legit still just in a game. So maybe Keen's playing mech, man. I don't know. Although I would say Korean Terran are, I think, more likely to kamikaze their mech before, like, turtling to a 4-hour game. Just personal thoughts.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. But it's been going on for, what, 45 minutes?
Something like that. New sub hype, by the way, Windex Rex. Oh, that's such a good name, Windex Rex. Thank you so much for subscribing. I guess while we're waiting here for the players to get their vetoes kicked off, again, we'll go to the website and show you guys how the Woodwatch site works. Yord is an American company, by the way, even though it sounds like it should be Swedish or something. But yeah, if you go to woodwatches.com/base, you hear this annoying little ping in a sec. That's their support thing. Don't do it. Don't message me. I don't want to hear the bing. Damn it. He still said hello. Automated message.
Can I help you?
Sad face. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Anyways, the thing is, it shows how much watches have been sold, how much money's been raised. To make it clear how this works, this is like a year-long thing, this part. 15% of all sales will go towards the next BaseTradeTV tournament. So that's always there all the time, always. The amount you get off for the deal, that fluctuates. Sometimes it's 5%, sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's $20 straight up, which is always nice. So 10% until holidays is the current deal that's currently going on. And all you do is request your code down here so that you guys can get some discounts. Maybe some fancy watches. I said I'd show mine off earlier, but I forgot to, so here you have it. First off, it's not very big. It's very, very light. Like, I cannot begin to... Like, hold it with your pinky, it's so light type thing. I guess you can hold all watches with your pinky. Shut up. Anyways, point is, it looks nice. It's made of wood. It's very comfortable to wear. I love this watch. And while for others, it might not be your fanciest watch, it certainly is for me, so I take care of it and put it in my drawer instead of wearing it every day.
Nice ones.
Oh, there's some confusion about seating and vetoes. But okay, they'll get this going. We're going to go to commercial break, guys. 2 minutes. Hopefully when we're back, the vetoes will be done. And we'll be hopping into a fresh best of 3.